Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode on the Lucy Liu Show. And I have a special guest with me today, Anya Cheng. She's the founder and CEO of Tailor, an AI platform that uses AI to help men choose outfits and rent them. Having led teams at big brands such as Target, Facebook, eBay, McDonald's, she's a mentor at 500 startups, lecturer at Northwestern University, author, TEDx speaker. How amazing is that? Welcome to the show, Anya.
Hello. This is Anya. I'm here in San Francisco. I now run a company called Tailor AI. We use AI stylists to help busy men to look good, so feel confident. Before that, I helped launch Facebook, Instagram shopping, was head of product for eBay, and helped McDonald's launch food delivery business globally on the digital side, and help Target to run the tech office in San Francisco. I'm excited to be here.
So you've led all these teams at big brands as you started your own company and got backed by VCs behind 20 plus unicorns. How has your definition of confidence evolved as you moved from a corporate leadership to a founder and CEO role?
I think I would say the confidence is up and down, right? So because when I working for big tech companies, people tend to like to talk to you. When I have the Facebook business card, people say, "Yeah, I want to do business with Meta or with Instagram, or I want to apply for a job there." Seems that people always want to talk to you. And throughout, I'm immigrant from Taiwan originally. So throughout the last 15 years, kind of starting from working for like no one heard of type of a magazine company all the way to Meta and leading team. But then being a startup founders, the confidence was just gone. Because when I became a startup founder, I'm a CEO of Tailor, which no one heard of before. So then when I go to meetings or Chamber of Commerce, networking events, people tend to talk to those big IPO founders and definitely not small startup owner. So I remember one time when I went on a startup competition, and I prepare ahead. So I found former two judges beforehand. I practiced a mock interview pitch with them. So when I went on the competitions, my pitch was perfect. But right after the pitch, the judge asked me questions. Da la 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 la. And I was stunned. I couldn't answer any questions. Wasn't because I didn't know the answer. I did. I totally knew all of the answers. But in my head, I didn't believe that I could answer those questions. I was trying to find an answer. Yeah, this question, practice judge number 37 asked me, and I answered it in appendix number 2. I wrote down his answer, which was blah, blah, blah. Let me think about what was the answer. Of course, I lost a competition, which was $100,000 award. And because I didn't believe in myself. I'm just a startup founder. What do I know? That's not true. I worked 15 years before and I think about this topic all day long, way more than anyone else for years. So after that, we lost the competition and it was a aha moment that I realized people don't follow people with scripts. People follow leaders with opinion and trust themselves. So I switch my mindset and think again. And in the future, every time when I go on competitions, I try to make sure I'm present and really sincerely tell them my point of view because I trust that people like to hear my point of view. And that's how we end up won another 11 award, including last year's E! Magazine Best Startup of the Year and the year before Business Journal Most Innovative Startup in Silicon Valley. So it's all about mindset change and about the confidence.
I love how you mentioned self-trust because having that self-trust in rooms where you may be underestimated at first, right? So, what helped you gain more self-trust in those rooms?
Yeah, I think so. It's some techniques that someone told me before was that we tend to sometimes talk about that I should do ABC. So, well, today I should exercise more. I should lose weight. I should start my New Year resolutions. I should launch these new business departments and this new initiative. We have a lot of we should. And the more we say we should, the more negative that we feel about ourselves. Because, yeah, you should. Why are you not doing that? But it should be different because you can say, I would like to. I would like to start this New Year resolution. I would like to start learning this sport. I would like to start spending more time with my family. I would like to. It's become more positive. It's more action driven. Is that you are motivated to do so, not you are bland that you are not doing so. So I think this little tip really helped me and to feel great. And I also think that the list of doing things wasn't very helpful before. When I have a long to-do list before, I would write down what I want to do and write down what I want to do, and the list become 1 and 3 and 10 and 11 and 100 and 200, and then you never look at the list. Every time you open a list, feel like the list was laughing at you, like, why are you not finishing me? So you feel bad about yourself every day. But what I do nowadays was in the morning, I just write down 1 or 2 things that I have to do for sure today. But everything else, just follow the flow. Time is limited. You can never finish everything that you want to do. You are doing great as long as you are prioritizing your time for the stuff that matters to you. And everyone's definition of matters is different.
Yes. And I love how you mentioned, even though after losing the competition, you didn't give up. You signed up again and again for more competitions and eventually won all those awards. But you still win and sold after getting those awards. So what was the scariest decision that helped you get there?
I think the scariest decisions will be being a startup founder, right? So, yeah, but I would say, um, I think this is just the I won't say scary decision, but I would say the mindset change is very important. For example, when I started being a founder, I feel like the world is not fair. People only want to talk to IPO founder. When they see that your business card is CEO of Taylor. What's Taylor? Oh, how do you spell Taeoor? What does it do? Oh, we do for AI stylists. We do menswear rental subscriptions, and like I feel like nobody care. But then at that time, at first time, I feel like that's bad. Why the world? Everybody goes to talk to this big boss in those lunch meetings. Why people only talk like mostly when being invited to events? People ask you like how much revenue your company has. So at the beginning, I feel sad about that. I feel like life is not fair. Only people who have a lot of money and very successful in the fields will be recognized and respected. And but then I quickly changed my mindset. I realized that it's blessing because when I was working for big tech companies, Meta or eBay as a head of product, people talk to you and you don't know if it's because they truly respect you. They like you as a person, respect your opinion. They think you are a person with good integrity, or simply they just want to do business with your company. You don't know, right? But now being a startup founder, you start realize, hey, people do value your opinion, and that's why they partner with you. Our customer like that our stylist pick stuff for them, help them to look great, so then they get a job, get a day, close a deal. You are delivering value. That's why they engage with you. So it become a lot more clear who are nice person, want to help you, who really value your contributions, who really like you as a person, as a friend, versus who just want to use your big title to do something. So my mindset changed from just feel bad for the world and feel sad about that, feel like I'm nobody again. Why do I make decision be a founder? I should continue working for big tech company, to something that I realized that is actually a blessing. Before, when I got my Amazon package, they're supposed to. It's supposed to show up today. Why is half day late? But now being a startup founder, I know the Amazon package showed up because 20 people worked behind. Our merchants talking to hundreds of vendors, find a great product. A buyer decide on the pricing after lots of a spreadsheet. Engineers build out the software to track the systems. someone packing in the warehouse for you, putting on the tip. The post office pick up from the packaging from the warehouse, and then there's shipping. The someone driver driving in a rent and trying to go home for their dinner, and eventually they deliver to you. And here with another tracking back to the system, lots of things behind, lots of hard work behind. I start becoming more appreciative for the world and seeing more for the world. And I think that's the mindset change of from sad to be feel life is unfair to feel appreciating those learnings, those opportunities, those be able to see quality people who truly want to help you and value the friendship. And I think that's a mindset change that made me have the energy and motivation to continue on the journey.
Beautifully said. I love how you explained your mindset shift because we as founders need that mindset shift at every level of our business.
Yeah, I think so. It's not no matter at what level, I think it's never easy. I remember after being a startup founder, one time I talked to a reporter, and as people know, a reporter is still pretty high up, even though the world have changed into be influencer or whatsoever. But still, it was a major media company reporter. So the reporter we met in the events. She sent me questions for some interview. The questions were pretty long. So I was trying to wrote down the answers for her and I forgot. So it took me about a week that didn't get back to her. So she went back and talked to one of our investors and say, hey, she feel like I probably just feel like she's not the investor, so I don't care, and so don't even care to get back to her, which wasn't the intention at all. So I think that imposter syndrome happen in every level. Like even I worked 15 years in career, leading teams and working for big tech companies. Even the reporter spending 15 years life and becoming a major key person for a major media company. It still happens. It happened a lot. It happened to women, and it happened at any career, stage of the career or life, or it happened to people becoming a mom, becoming a new different roles in the life, changing environments. So I would say that the tip is it's hard. I still experience that every day. I'm not in positions in tell people what to do. I'm sure Lucy have better answer, but I would say sometimes you start with a small voice in your head, like you cannot do it. You cannot do it. I think the tip is that to shut it down before it become too loud. Because if you don't shut it down, it will become you cannot do it. You cannot do it, right? So you just shut it down when it's small, still small, and then I would say go out a little bit more because being a startup founder or even being an employee for any company, you probably look at your company like, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong. And we have this whole bunch of things to do. We have this customer complaint. We have these returns. But when you go out in conference or events, when you start talking to people, many times you will realize you thought you haven't improved much. But just like your kids, you're like, hey, they haven't grown up. You turn around, oh my God, when do you are you as high as I am? When do you start eating two bowls of rice? Right? So it actually because the change is small but change is frequent. So you actually don't know how far you have already gone until that you go out and talk to people. So I would say heads up and start going out and talk to people. You're right, you realize there are a lot more people worse than you, and you are actually doing really good.
Yeah, great reminder. As a mentor and lecturer, you lecture on marketing, but what's a pattern you see with maybe students you've had? What do they struggle with the most in marketing?
I would say I'll answer the question differently. I would say, first of all, in general, what are the good students? Who are the good students? I found that very interesting in my 10 years of teaching that the best students tend to be the one that with little objective, which is very, very different from the education back when I grew up in Taiwan. It's all about you have a clear goal and you achieve this goal. But somehow when I'm teaching at Northwestern University, turn out the best students in the class were those who have full with curiosity. They
Mm.
learn, they take pick this course, not because the course has highest score, not because that, oh, now AI is trendy, let me take the AI class. Oh, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, the analytics trendy, let me take analytic class. Yes, there could be a little bit people all like popular stuff, but even more so, they are truly curious about this. I think that's very, very different from my mindset or the education I got because it's all about, okay, Anya, you should know about what. What is the most important? Memorizing these things is important. But then the more I grow up, I realized that the best students were those actually care more about why. So from what to be how to be why, they were just curious about things because it makes sense. Because if you are only tracing trends, oh, this is popular, I should do this. By the time that you know about this, it's too late. Entire world is going to do so. Yes, you should be open-minded, learning new technology and new things. But if you're just chasing the trend, then you are always two steps behind. 10 years ago, I was doing personalizations and analytics, and people at the time say like, yeah, that's probably most fancy stuff. Will be working for like Time Warner, those type of amazing traditional company because they really own. And then CPG, like selling shampoo on P&G Unilever is the coolest job in marketing. And then like, what do you want to marketing technology? What does it mean? Like nobody cares. You shouldn't care about these. But fast forward now, you see like those company where even Netflix acquired those traditional company now. So if you are just following the trend and you are one step behind, so I would say also believe in what you like. When I was studying marketing at Northwestern University, we had three track that students can select. One is data and one is branding, which both are very cool. And there's one called like media management, which no one knows what is. For some reason, I don't even know why, but I just really like the media management. People say, no, 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 no. You have to pick data because you are international student. Only data can get a job. And people say, or no, 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 no. You should at least try branding if you keep your math is bad, which is totally not true. For people who do marketing analytics, not about math. But you should at least do branding because at least it's the core of marketing. But for some reason, I just like media management. I started my career in media company. I found it fascinating in media industry. I just love it. So I decided to go with it. And when I graduated, Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy. There was no job anywhere. But eventually, in the entire class of like Chinese students or Asian or Taiwanese students, there are about 20 of us. And eventually, there were two people stayed from the Taiwanese cohort, and one is me who studied media management. And probably I would say I was definitely not top in the class, definitely in the bottom of
Yeah,
the
but that
class.
would not have happened had you chosen the given way, right? The popular
Yeah,
way.
they
I
were not.
love that.
It's just what I love. And then the other student who stayed was actually the one who studied branding. And her background was actually an English teacher. So I would say it's not always you have to do this, otherwise you cannot get the what. Or it's not always like you already whatever 30, 40, 25 years old. So you are supposed to do what. I feel like there's never that true. And so that's what I learned a lot in that. So back to the questions on the marketing side, I think it's marketing is end of day is all about solving people's problems. So it's not just about beautiful slogans, and it's about understanding people's problem and then address that. Oh, you have this problem. You feel like you are getting out of a concert and couldn't find something that easily to help you to go home. How about try Uber? Uber can get you even with a large amount of people outside. You don't have to wait in the rain and then trying to find the next taxis on the street. It's about understanding the pain point and communicate with people with relevant information.
Okay. Thank you for your expertise. Okay, Anya, I know we scheduled this call until 10:30. Are you okay to go a little bit
Yeah,
later?
sure.
Okay. So we can just ask a couple more questions, but I'll take just short answers so we can
Sure.
wrap this up. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. Um, you mentioned networking events, right? And obviously, your company would not be successful today without getting backed by VCs. So how can women build powerful networks so they can get what they want, whether that's funding or marketing? or what it is that is they needed to grow their business?
I think so a lot is just giver's game and then find people who really have common interests where you feel good chemistries together. So, for example, we are backed by Berlin Capital, which is the Meta's list best VC in the US, which means their performance for their investors is high and top 10 in the US. But how did I get this investment was because that I talked to another founder and I was trying to ask him to introduce his investor to me. But in the conversation, I forgot. I talked to him. He does like security camera and I shared with him about how we use AI to pick clothes for men, how we send people for people to rent. And he really loved the idea for sustainabilities that help people to look great while also helping the world reduce future inventory. So which was a great conversation. And after that, I forgot about the investor thing. I connect a whole bunch of potential clients to him. I used word for Meta and I helped bring internet.org connectivity to countries that didn't have internet. So I spent a lot of time in Africa where we usually have bodyguards. So I connect a whole bunch with bodyguard companies to him and he got those leads. So a month after he reached out back to me, he said, Anya, thank you so much for those amazing clients. By the way, what were you reaching me out for? How can I be helpful? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted you to help me to connect to your investor. So with half an hour conversation, we got $1 million from Berlin Capital, which is early investor behind Lyft and Instacart. So I would say give a scam and help building our connections with just genuinely with people who appreciate your business and help them up.
Yeah, so help each other, collaborate, and really putting yourself out there because you actually, first of all, you had to introduce your idea, right? And that takes courage. I love that. So for the women listening who has bold ideas but is hesitating or has some type of fear before leaping to their next big endeavor, what is one last thing you want them to hear today?
I think you have to be something that you really like because being a startup founder is not like a job you can work for a year or two or three. It's usually a 3, 4 years or more time of a journey. So you have to like the idea. So I personally, for example, when I was working for Meta, I want to look great, but because I feel imposter syndrome. I led large technology team. I came from marketing and data scientist background. So I started looking for option like subscription boxes out there, but it all have to require me to buy. They style me, but I have to buy before I can wear. So I start renting clothes using company like Newly, Rent the Runway or more, which some of them make 500 million per year. But then I realized I have to browsing through 10,000, 100,000 garments and spend hours. So it was a aha moment that I realized the world has been designing for people who love fashions versus for people who are not into fashion but just want to look good to achieve their goals. For me, it was just so then I can get rid of my imposter syndrome because I feel like I look ready every day even no one knows I'm freaking out behind. So when I doing research and realize a lot of people actually think like me, but a lot of them hate shopping and laundry and they are mostly single guy and sales guy. And throughout the career in the last 10 years, I have always been passionate to help people achieve their goals. I publish books, I have online courses, and I share on social media just because I think that I came from blue collar family. A lot of people help me. So I want to help more people to achieve a goal. And it kind of tied to the the business that I'm doing that people can look great and dress like who they want to be. At the same time, I have a co-founder. She came from a background. She really into sustainability. She grew up wanting to be a fashion designer, but ended up she became an accountant because she also grew up in the Asian family who say you should have be a finance person. So she loves sustainability and renting clothes actually helping to reduce to help on address the issue that today 10% of clothes, 30% of clothes goes to landfill, generating 10% of carbon emissions. So I think both of us have that something that we truly believe, and that's why we decide to start a company. So for people who want to have a next big idea, you just have to do something that you do like, not something that you feel like, oh, this just can make a lot of money, or this is trendy right now, because it's going to be a new long journey. If you don't love it, you're going to hate it because you are going to spend a lot of time 24/7 to think about
it. Beautifully said. Well, thank you for being with us. Anya's info is linked below, so feel free to connect with her and check out her website if you know a man who needs to rent some clothes.